Okay, so in this short video we're going to have a look at analysing some raw data. And raw data, as I've said there, is simply, it's just an unsorted list, nothing's been done to it. It's the data that you receive as you receive it, okay? Now the first question really to ask could be this. How many people were interviewed for this data? Okay, good, alright. Now if you're not sure, we've simply got this. How many pieces of data are there? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 people or 8 families or whatever. 8 people were surveyed. Let's say people rather than families, doesn't really matter. But so 8 because there's 8 pieces of data. Okay. Now this is raw data, it's just as it comes. Okay. Now, what can we do to analyse this data? Well, there's two things really. There's what's called the central tendency, which is the average, and also the spread of the data. Okay, so what we're looking at really is two different things. Okay, so we've got 8 people surveyed and we've got that's their raw data. So now we're going to look at the central tendency. Okay, and as you can see, it's the middle of the data and we commonly call this the average. So let's have a look. What types of averages are there? Well, the one that most people think of is the mean. Now when people think of an average, they think of this, and I'm sure that you know that you basically add them all together and then what? Correct. Then divide by how many there are. How many there are. This is basically the way of a fair average, in the sense of you put out all these numbers into a hat and then you spread them out equally between 8 people. So what we've got then for the mean is 1 plus 3, that's 4 animals, 4 pets, plus a 0 and 1 family there, plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1. Just check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 families there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So altogether there's 9 pets in this survey. So these numbers are the number of pets. Okay. Now, how many are there all together? Well, the total, I won't call it total, I'll just say how many are there all together for the moment, and we've got 8. So what we're going to do now is that the mean is 9 divided by 8, which is 1 and 1/8, okay, which when you work that out is that. So we could probably say it's just over 1, and you might argue, well, you can't have 0.1 of a pet. But what we're saying here is that on average people have 1 pet, yeah, but it's just more than 1 pet on average, alright, on average using the mean. Another type of average is the mode, and the mode to me is the simplest. Think of the word mode. Mode is fashionable, mode is what everybody's doing at the moment, and mode is most. So the two words sound very similar, okay? i.e., what number, in this case, what number of pets occurs most? Well, looking at our data, I'll just flip back again. You can see that, right, what's most families got? Most families have got 1 pet. Alright, so just by looking, and that's all it is, it's by inspection, the mode is 1. Okay. The last one is called the median, and to me that sounds like the middle one. Okay, so sounds ish like that. So median, middle one. median, middle one, middle one, median, same sort of thing. In this case, we've got to find the middle. Well, because this is raw data, it could have come at us in any order whatsoever. So what we have to do for the middle one is to arrange them first, smallest to biggest, or biggest to smallest. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is arrange first. Okay, arrange in order. So we've got, looking at that list just above there, we have 2 zeros, 4 ones, a 2, and a 3. Okay, now we have to find the middle one. Right, the middle one. Now what's the problem here? What can you see is happening here? Well, yep, we've actually got a middle 2. Okay, a middle 2. Now the middle 2 happen to be the same number in this case. Okay, it doesn't have to be, but the middle 2 are the same. So here, in this case, it's very straightforward that the median would give us one answer only, which again is 1. So what we're saying is, on average, now there's 3 types of average, all right? 3 types of average there, but all 3 of them are saying it's about 1, okay? It's about 1. Now, let's just change that data. Let's have some new data. And this time, I'm going to pretend we've already arranged it. Now, it's the same people, same families, except I'm going to ask another family who happen to have 20 goldfish. Alright, so now the new data, how many families have now been surveyed? Well, again, count the data, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now we've got 9 families. So let's have a look at what the mean looks like now. Alright, it's 0 plus 0 plus 1 plus 1. I know we've done this before, but I'm just doing this just to show you. Alright, well this lot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, was 9, so we end up with 29. Alright, now we're going to do 9 families now, so 29 divided by 9. Alright, it's a quick switch screen, just bear with me a second. Well, the wonders of technology. I should have prepared this first, but I didn't think about it. La la la, just talk amongst yourselves. I've been going 8 minutes now, so I don't want to go too much more than this. Let me just sling that over there. Let me clear that. And what we're doing is 29 divided by 9, which gives us 3.22. Alright, it's 3.22222, which is a recurring decimal. Okay, so it's approximately 3.2. Okay. The mode, however, which is the most, is still 1. That hasn't changed. And the median now, well, if you look at 9 pieces of data, there's only 1 middle. Alright, it's there. Check for yourself. Check for yourself that that's definitely in the middle. And again, the median, the middle one, is 1. Okay, so what's that telling us? Well, we always think of the average as the mean. And in this case, because we have somebody with 20 goldfish, that has completely distorted the central tendency. That's distorted the actual mean average. Okay, I suppose it's like you saying how much allowance or pocket money do you get a week, and then compare that to my wages that I get a week. If we did the mean average, it would be completely distorted and it wouldn't make any sense. Okay, so what we've done there is we've had a look at the central tendency or the average. Okay, now the other thing that we can look at is the spread of the data. All right, the spread of the data. Now let's see if I can do this without destroying too much. I'm trying badly to get down to the bottom. Should have put 2 pages in. Okay. Alright, so the next bit that we can look at then is what's called the spread. So the spread of the data, okay, the spread of the data is sort of is how spread out it is, I suppose. Okay. And the simplest one that we can look at is called the range. Okay, so the range of the data, and this is very, very straightforward. All you want to know is what's the biggest value, and then you subtract the smallest value, and that gives you the range. All right, how far spread out it is. So in our first example that we've just done, so in the first example we had 0, 0, 1, 1, 1 again, 2 and 3, and so the range is simply 3, which is the biggest, take away 0, which is the smallest, which is 3. So the range is 3 pets. Alright, so that's how spread out it is. For the second example, we had 0 and 0 and 1, lots of 1s, we had a 2, we had a 3, and then we had a 20. So you can see just by having this large number on the end, the biggest number is now 20, the smallest number is now 0, so the range in this time is 20. Okay, which definitely tells you that the data is much more spread out. It's not quite as consistent, it's not quite as close together. Okay, that's called the spread, and the other one was called the central tendency. Okay, all done.